the video on something. Oh, gas is working today. That gas jet wasn't working for a while. Not with the with the clicker. Oh yeah, dirty clicker. Wasn't working with the clicker, and all of a sudden, it started working. Oh, that's not strange. Even though every time I turn the gas on, I use the clicker. So a video on something I want to have a faff around with, as always. I watched a video, and someone made a pasta dish using like tomato water. Although it wasn't really tomato water, it was more of a thin tomato sauce. Somewhere in New York, and I was just kind of quite curious about it, but obviously I'm not going to do that. It just kind of sparked my kind of interest about cooking pasta in a vegetable stock. So might as well use all that. So this is just I've got more. There is just a carrot stock which I made with the carrot peelings from work. So I just kind of thought, well, it's difficult to cook pasta. Just turn it down slightly, otherwise it will just burn the sides of the pan. Difficult to cook pasta in a like a meat stock, because the pasta needs liquid, and the stock isn't like a pure liquid. Well, it is a liquid, but it's not like water. There's other things in it like gelatin, and so it kind of doesn't really want to absorb into pasta just kind of quite as easily, so more difficult to kind of cook things in a stock, because obviously you need liquid to go into the pasta to is it cook it or is it rehydrate it? Cook it. So I kind of thought what we'd do is we'd make some carrot stock just from the peelings. So take the peelings, cook them in some water, and then puree it down, and then pass it through a cloth, so we just end up left with a carrot stock, like a carrot water type of thing. I suppose I could have just bought some carrots and put them in the juicer and made some carrot juice, but I don't like waste, and the idea of making a carrot stock out of peelings was much more appealing to me. So it tastes a little bit carroty, probably needs more liquid than that. So there's 300 grams worth of pasta, and then what are those? We've put in about 800 millilitres of stock and some salt, probably some more, like that, and then we'll put some pepper in at the start. And I'm just kind of quite curious what's going to happen. Yeah, just kind of quite curious. And then we've got some. Then I've got some chicken stock, which I cooked the carrots in function today while I was at work. And we might just finish off. We'll see how that tastes as we're kind of cooking, and then we might just finish off that pasta with some of this carroty stock. Just out of interest, because the carrot stock will have more of a gelatinous kind of feel to it, so that will change the mouth kind of feel of the pasta. I don't know why I'm doing this. I'm just kind of thinking about things, and then it looks like we've got some fat on the top of that. So obviously the chicken stock, it was just a rough chicken stock. I cooked some chicken in it at another function. I cooked some chicken in some stock just to kind of cook the chicken, some chicken breasts, and then I kept that chicken stock and then cooked the carrots in it today. So there's obviously a little bit of chicken fat, so that can go in. And then we've got a bit of old cheese in the fridge as well, so we might just put that as well. But I quite like the idea of putting that chicken fat in, because it will make a nicer sauce. So we're going with the idea that we're making a sauce using the starch from the pasta, the liquid, and then the fat from this chickeny carroty stock, which will form a sauce, which is the basis of a white sauce anyway. So a liquid, either milk or water, and then flour, which flour is the starch from the pasta, and then fat would be something like lard or butter. So, and then we kind of reduce it down. It's already very yellowy, and that kind of forms a sauce. So that is the basis of things like pasta al griglia and carbonara and that kind of stuff. That's kind of how the sauce forms in the pan. So I waffled too much. We're already at 5 minutes, or maybe 6. I haven't got my glasses on. So we'll let that cook and we'll see what happens. Right, so we are getting somewhere close. Although it's taken almost about 1.3 litres of that carrot stock to cook this pasta. Let's just give it a taste. Pretty good as that. That's pretty good as that. It's got like a warm kind of flavour to it. Yeah, it's got like a depth of flavour there that I didn't think would be there with just this bit of carrot stock and a bit of chicken fat from the cooking juices from the chicken. So let's add more of this. Let's taste this first actually. How does this taste? That's got a nice depth of flavour. So we'll put in a couple of spoonfuls of that. That just tastes like a nice well balanced chicken stock that's had some vegetables kind of cooked in it. So yeah, I'm still trying to crack. Well, still trying to faff around with chicken stocks and that type of thing. Like I've got this idea that if we add vegetables to a chicken stock, it's all very well, or if you add vegetables to any kind of stock, it's all very well, but those vegetables, although in part flavour into the stock, they also take away flavour from the stock because they kind of absorb that kind of flavour. So like a carrot gives carrot flavour to a stock, but then also kind of sucks out some of that chickeny flavour from the stock. So there are kind of ways around it, but I'm still faffing around with that and can't kind of quite nail how I feel about that. But anyway, but that tastes just like a nice chicken stock. I'll have to do something with it. That's nice. It hasn't got that acidity of tomatoes, but it's got like a nice round flavour and like a bit of a depth to it. So it certainly needs some more pepper. I'm not going to put any more salt in because I'm going to put some cheese in. Now, I have got some cheese in the cupboard, well, in the fridge, which I've noticed it's been in there for quite a while, and it's gone a little bit, well, you'll see when I get it out of the fridge, it's gone a little bit, right, that's enough of that. So we don't want to, so you can see how that bit of fat and the starch that's come out of the pasta, and that stock has formed like a sauce type of thing. So that's nice. Let's look at this cheese. It is way past its best. One of those things that it just got left in the cupboard. It's not gone green, but it's gone white. Am I going to cut those bits off? No, I'm not. We turn the heat off. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to grate that into there. So this is a success so far, which kind of opens up the possibilities of using different vegetable stocks to cook pasta to add depth of flavour. Yes. Okay, so let me just kind of frame this, or square this. So I find vegetable stock cubes, when I use them in soups and things, the soup ends up tasting a vegetable stock cube rather than the actual vegetable that I'm making the soup out of. So if I was to make a vegetarian mushroom soup and use vegetable stock cubes, the soup ends up tasting more of vegetable stock cubes than it does of mushrooms. So I think that must be a problem with vegetarian cooking, and this would be a way around it, making your own stock from vegetable peelings or vegetable scraps, or just carrots and cooking them down and pureeing them down and then squeezing the juice out of them and using that as a stock. Any kind of vegetables, same with onions or anything like that. That would be a nice way of introducing flavour into a pasta dish, and a depth of flavour which I think you kind of quite struggle with a lot of vegetarian and vegan foods. you kind of you miss that quite a lot of depth of flavour. There are ways around it, but I think this would be one of those ways around it. So that, as it is, obviously apart from it's got the chicken fat in it, but that could be replaced with olive oil. So that, as is lovely. So I don't think it's that chicken fat that's added that layer of flavour to it. So hard cheese. Now, adding hard mature cheese to pasta dishes is always kind of a little bit problematic because it's a little bit too dry and it doesn't want to melt as easily as a younger hard cheese. And this has certainly been in the fridge drying out because it's not wanting to grate as easy, so it's not going to want to melt as easy either. But we'll kind of give it a go. I'll just grate it onto there because doing it over pan a little bit problematic. And I'm going to grate in those white bits as well because it's not off, it's just a little bit of good mould. This is very dry, is this? I don't know how it's going to melt into the cheese sauce, but we'll find out. Well, I say cheese sauce, it's not cheese sauce yet, is it? How it's going to melt into the pasta. Probably with a little bit of difficulty. Oh no, that's okay. It's kind of quite interesting, isn't it? So, like mac and cheese is really orangey yellow in colour, so maybe using a carrot stock in mac and cheese would give it a really nice colour without using those packets of mac and cheese which have obviously got like lots of yellow orangey colour in them. So using a carrot stock would be a way around that. Although maybe the colouring in those packet cheese mac and cheese is keratin colouring. So that's quite a bit of cheese. Let's see if it melts in. Fingers crossed there. But we're off the temperature's off, but there should be enough heat in the pasta and the sauce to melt that cheese. It has melted into that sauce. So let's give it a try. I think that'll be enough cheese. That was a spoon. I need a fork. How does it taste? Pretty good, that. Needs a little bit of acidity to it. What have we got? We must have some white wine vinegar. Yes, we've got a little bit of white wine vinegar. So this will be, let's see what happens. It might do something to it. But that might just compensate for the lack of acidity. So if we'd have used tomatoes, we would have got the acidity from the tomatoes. But we just had a little bit of white wine vinegar. That might do the job. Much better with just that little bit of a kick of white wine vinegar. So, that's a success. I don't know what use it is, or how we could use it in future, but delicious all the same.